Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, we're sitting here today. Got our tasty, delicious coffee. Yes, we do. It's always tastes the same, huh? Nice and tasty. And when you're a coffee guy, that's what you like. So, today we're going to make some clay balls. We finally did get to Walmart and pick up this here air dry clay, right? And we have two of these molds. We have one that's the I guess it's about the 20 gauge mold, but this is a .690 492 grain lead ball mold by Lee. I picked this up at Midway USA. They had the most reasonable price, and I thought I'd make a few of these. Now I don't make a whole lot of this all at one time. I wouldn't do this whole tub, because what happens is you get tired after a while, and you get a little bit too, I don't know what you call it, complacent. I don't know what the word is for sure. I just know one thing: when you get a little bit of skin between the jaws of this and between these aluminum blocks, you do that, ouch, it gives you a nasty purple pinch, and it's what they call as a blood blister. Oh, and I've did that a few times. But anyway, she's a little loose and ready to go with lead. So you got this little hole in the top. You got a lead heated canister, and you put this underneath there. You got this like that, and then you put it underneath there, and you push the lever, and it fills up with lead, and you cut it. You got to pre-warm it and all that kind of stuff. I haven't done that, but remember, if you're going to play with real lead, you want to be outside. You can't do it anywhere indoors. You got to be upwind, and don't breathe none of that stuff. It's highly toxic and deadly poison, and that's no joke. So if you're going to mess with lead. But I got this and discovered clay balls. So that's what I did. I started making clay balls. So let's open this tub up, eh? It's got little flappies on the side. You just flip them up, and it should open right up with no trouble, I would think. All right, there we go. And there's our clay inside. Now what we'll do is we'll take a clump of it. Oh, let's say about that much. And we'll make some clay balls. And that'll be probably about all the clay balls that I will make. And I usually set them on top of the container and then let them dry on top of it. And then I'll pour them off. You want to close this back up good so it don't dry out on you. This stuff is good and moist. It's brand new. So as it ages, it gets a little bit tougher, right? So we'll put that off to the side. Get that out of our way. You want to see we got some. I take me clay. Goodness. And I will roll it out like so. That's how I do it. Try to get a nice solid tube. A nice solid tube of clay. You don't want too much clay in the mold, just enough to make sure you got a good ball. And a lot of times I'll go and do the balls, and then I'll turn around and redo them. But that's what I do. I roll it out into a tube. And then I'll take that tube and I'll just break a piece off like so. Set it here in the mold, and that don't look like it's quite enough. And it's not. We're not getting any kind of squeeze on that whatsoever. So what we'll do is we'll just roll it again. And we'd like to try to get the diameter of this thing, at least that round. We rounded out, we rolled it out a little too thin. So get your tube that you're making here about the diameter of that ball. I would say that would be pretty close. Take a piece of clay, stick it on there, and you squeeze it together. Make sure the blocks come together good. You'll have a little excess squeeze out, but that's good. That means you've got the whole thing more than likely. You can just put it off to the side, and then you open her up, and there's a round ball. And then you can flip it out of there like so. And there it is on the table, huh? And there's a little bit of extra there, but not too bad. Now this clay probably could set out here on the table for a little while before I start rolling it and let it air dry a little bit, because it's kind of wetter than what it needs to be. So when it's a little bit wet like that, it makes them kind of hard to work with. But that's the way it is. Now sometimes I'll take those Excuse me. And I'll maybe add a little pinch more clay to them, a couple pinches, and I'll just round them like this and run them around with my finger. And you know they're not going to be perfectly round doing this, that's for sure. Now, I never thought any of these were perfectly round, to be honest with you, when I look at them. But I did shoot a video with the 1728 French musket, and they had no trouble rolling down the barrel, which I thought was fouled enough to hold them in there, and popping out before I got a chance to pull the trigger. You can see them drop right out of the end of the barrel. So when they get done, they're more rounded than what you imagine. So that's one. And then you could just do that with all of them, actually. And then you don't have to mess with the mold right away. Try to get them, you got your template here, your template ball. Try to get all of the balls that you're going to mold about that same size, or very close to it. This one here's a little bit bigger. Pinch you off your clay balls like so. Roll them, roll them, roll them. Get them as round as you can. You're going to have some extra peel off of there when you squeeze them out. But that's okay. You can just roll it up and make another one till you run out of clay. Don't get too carried away and make them too big. That's what I like to do. I like to get carried away and make them too big. But you can always squeeze the excess off, and you'll get a full ball out of too big and too round. There's not enough clay, and it's not going to be good for you. So you don't want to be sure and do that. But that's how we do it, the process I do it. You can do it however you want to. I suppose if you put a little clay in your mouth, I don't know what they're trying to pull, but it tastes really sweet and tasty, huh? Because I thought I'd spitball one in a musket, and I thought, dang it, that's pretty tasty. And what are they trying to do, get our kids to eat clay? I don't know. Huh? You have to tell them, hey, don't eat that, it's not candy, because if they didn't know, they might chow right down. The more of these I roll, it looks like the bigger they're getting. So either my tube is bigger or something of that nature, but I've gotten way too big on these. But that's okay, I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just go through and do them. I'll do the process, yeah. And you can see what I'm doing. When we get done, we should have some nice round clay balls. And then we'll let them dry for a few days. And then you can go out and shoot them if you want to. Yeah, that's how you do her. Watch, there's about 3 more here. You can get both hands going if you're in a hurry. But, you know, I just do about this many. And if I feel like it, I'll do a few more. It just gives me something to do when I'm not sitting around like, hey, what can I do? Why don't you go do something like trim some trees or some work you need done? Now, let's go make some clay balls, eh? Your priorities ain't quite right, are they? Yeah, I might agree with that. All right, so there we go. Now, we've got a little bit of yucky clay on the mold, so you'll have that. And we put this ball in. Oh, I did get them way too big. But that's all right. You just make more squeezing out of stuff, huh? Now I got to clean this table real good when I get done so I don't get in the doghouse, because I will be in the doghouse. And then I take and flip it up out of there, and then I'll roll it a little bit, and I'll set it back in and give it another squeeze. And then I'll roll it around, give it another squeeze. That's kind of in the way, but like I said, if you get some little skin in between that when you're squeezing it, it'll let you know in a hurry. And then basically, there's what she looks like when you get done. It's kind of a roughy cut there, but that's it. We'll do the next one. Oh, we got a lot of clay there, extra. Give it a good squeeze. And then pop it up out of there. They like to stick really bad, and I haven't found anything to keep them from sticking yet, but it's going to be a bit of a pain in the butt. But not too bad. Could be worse. And then getting them out of there without unrounding them can be a bit of a challenge. But you're getting them closer to that size that you want, and you're getting the excess off of them. So you have them. And they're nice. They're pretty round at this point. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through them like this and take them And what do you do when we get done here? If you get too much clay on the block, you want to take and clean some of it off. Just kind of take your finger, wipe it off of there. And just be careful. Don't get that finger in between them aluminum blocks, or the skin, I should say, because that's not going to be very comfortable for you. So, but as you work these and stuff, the whole time you're doing it, they are air drying. So, because this is what this stuff does. It air dries. Air dry clay. They stick pretty good in the mold. Now, I don't know if you dip. I never tried dipping it in anything or putting water on or anything like that. That might help it not stick so much. Well, that one looked really good until I tried to peel it out of there. But they will stick in there pretty good. As you can see, there's a lot of excess clay coming out of there. But right now, we're not super worried about the shape of these guys, technically, because we're just going to keep running through this mold again here until we get the round balls that we're looking for. And they're closer to the diameter of 6.069. Is that what it is? 690, 6.6, number that, 690. That's what we're looking for. Okay, and that hunk of clay made, what would it make? 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 rounds right there of clay balls. That and this one here makes 14. Okay, so then I take my finger and I kind of clean up the mold. This is the one that doesn't have the pins on, is the easiest to clean. Soak up some of this mess. Just kind of take. You gotta be careful. This mold, this here aluminum blocks, they got sharp edges. So you want to be real careful if you're using one of these that you don't cut yourself. Now, if you're fortunate to have one of them little single ball makers for the brown bass that you got with the little handle, you probably could really have a good time with that. I need to see if I can get me one of those somewhere and find it. It's the one that you just set at the fire and hold into the fire and do them yourself. Those. So you want to roll this real good. There's 2.5 pounds of clay there. 1.1 kilograms for all you people who know that metric stuff. Right? All right, and then we'll tear these off and make some more round balls. We got 14 there. There's probably going to be about 20 of them in that little batch there by the time we get done. Right? But, you know, the clay is a wee bit wet, so it sticks pretty bad. If it's a little drier, and you just kind of take it out and lay it on the table and spread it out and let it dry a little bit, it's a lot easier to work. And when it comes fresh out of the can like that, it's very sticky. But like I said, that'll lighten up for you as time goes on. Oh, look, I think I laid him out in a Christmas tree. Oh my. Wasn't intentional. That's what it looks like. A little sloppy, but not too bad. I'm not going to move the camera and give you the bird's eye view, but because I'll probably mess it up and I won't be able to get this set up there again. Doing my good fortune, eh? All right, and I got this little piece left over here. I don't think it's going to make a clay ball, at least not a 6.9, because it's too small. But that one looks pretty. And there, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. All right, so we got that done. So now what I'll do is take them and roll them again, gently. Smooth them up, because you got that line in them from the two halves of the aluminum blocks going on them. So I take each one of them and roll them around. Kind of smooth them up back into the clay balls that they are. Now these are proportion size as far as the volume of clay goes. All of these have the correct volume of clay. So when you mold them, you're basically just trying to get them rounder. Now if you let them sit here and dry, take about a break for about a half hour or so, let them dry a little bit. They're really easy to work with them because they lose their stickiness. Once they lose that stickiness, you don't have any problem flipping them out of the mold. But when they're sticky, and you try to get them out of there, as they come out, you can misshape them a little bit and they won't be quite as round as you would want them to be. But basically, the product becomes better. There's a little more steps to this than what I thought. I just put them in there and made them, but apparently there's a few more steps to this than what I realized, because it's not just that quick that you just pop them out because of this here aluminum block sticking to it. Now if you got any ideas on something you could use to cause them not to be so sticky, leave a comment or something and I'll try it out. That's what I'll do, see if I can get them less sticky. But anyway, after a round, you just put them in there. It's amazing, sometimes you'll get more clay out of them after you do that too. And just open it up like so and just kind of gently drop it out of there. Give them a good squeeze. And it gets my handprints and everything off of them. Then you just go through and make your clay balls. Like so. But what I'll do is I'll probably let these set for a little bit, and I'll come out and do this process again and let them get a little less sticky, because they're very sticky. Like I said, it's fresh clay. I haven't had it for a long time now. The first batch I used, it come out of a container that the kids have been playing with and everything, so the clay was pretty dry, where this here clay is very moist. So it's going to have a little more of a struggle getting it out of there, out of the ball mold and everything in one piece without distorting it. So that's what we'll do. But anyway, that's how I do her. And like I said, the issue right now is fresh clay, and it needed some time to set and dry out. So, or let the kids play with it, and then when they get done, make you some clay balls, right? Say, hey kids, guess what? Time to quit playing with the clay. Grandpa's got to make some musket balls, huh? Yeah. He's gonna do it. Oh, Grandpa, daggone you, we was having so much fun with that clay. Yep. Oh well, huh? That's how it is. So, and these are the big ones. And I got the other smaller, I guess 20 gauge balls. I think they're 5.059 or 0.6, something like that. No, they're the other size. I have a few of those still, but I didn't have any of these. So anyway, that's how I'm doing it. And I'll relax here, let those dry a wee bit, let them get some air, which they will do. This little piece of clay here, it's not quite enough for a round ball, I don't think. But that's a video I've been going to do for a while and hadn't got her done. But there you go, we got her. We got some clay finally. I'd never stopped into Walmart, but yesterday I see my wife was going into the store. So I gave her a holler on the phone and said, hey, can you pick me up a thing of clay? And the kids kept saying, oh, we got some clay you can use, Grandpa. And I'm like, oh, okay. But they never did give it to me. So this videos took a lot longer than what I anticipated to put up. Hey, well, you know, I come up with just enough, maybe, to make one more. By golly. Just enough to make one more clay ball, huh? One more clay ball, Ed. Yep, one more clay ball. Yep. And of course it shows a little tab on the top of it where it would be poured in if you was using real lead. There's a little hole in the top there. Now I thought about getting a fishing sinker mold for round fishing sinkers. You can get them on eBay and for about 30 bucks or so. And you might be able to use a fishing sinker mold. Now you can make all kinds of different size stuff. I did see that I didn't order one. I said, I paid like, this is like $40 for this item here on Midway USA. So I said, you bought that, why don't you use that? You know, you've already got the investment there. So anyway, that's how I do it. Now I just I'm gonna let them dry a little bit here, get some of that stickiness off of them, and then I'll shape them again and get them a little bit rounder, so that I got a nice round ball to roll out the ends of the barrel before I get to pull the trigger on the 1728 French infantry musket, huh? Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you're having a great day. I may do something else here later. So if I do, boy, cracky, we'll see what we can come up with. But anyway, that's the clay ball making that I do. And, you know, it's not quite the finished product yet, but it will be soon. As soon as it gets red a little bit, it dries a little bit, we'll get that round shape into them a lot better. They won't quite stick in the mold so bad, because the clay is very, very sticky. Yes. All right, well, I'm going to sign off of here. We've had 21 minutes of unlimited fun, right? All right. And we'll talk at you later, my friends.